Karma is our patterns, our habits. It's sometimes called action. Karma is action, and that is technically what it is because it is how we respond to what comes our way each and every day. The opportunities, the threats, how people treat us, what is said about us, how we choose to respond to it, what we choose to do with it is our karma because it is the next step down the path of life. And depending on if you go right or left, you're going to get a different experience. So we always have free will and choice. We are not bound to anything. However, we are affected by the reality of what's going on around us and also kind of shaded by the history of our choices, which is why it can sometimes be perceived that karma is deeply limiting. And it is, but it's limiting by our own choice as long as we continue to perpetuate the habits that we have chosen in the first place. So there's a couple of things to understand here, which are really great because the reminder ultimately is that we created it and therefore we can release it at any given time. So we are really just chained and tied to our karma, which is our own choices. So what affects our karma is the agreements that we make, the promises that we make, the beliefs that we buy into, and the hard and challenging experiences that we have that make us feel like we have less choice. Because as a human being, sometimes we're in a corner, right? Sometimes you're stuck between a rock and a hard place, and you choose something just to get through it, just to get out of it. And it might not be the best choice. It might not be the positive choice, which is the choice that is in your highest alignment, but it is the choice that gets you through. And anytime we are in those situations, we tend to be pretty okay with that because we're so caught up in what's going on. The downside of that is if it gets us what we wanted, if it gets us to safety, if it gets us to security, if it gets us to the next step, if it gets us the success that we thought we wanted, then it's kind of filed away into our energy of this is a good response to life, this is a good action, this is a good karma. Which means that the next time we are in a similar situation, pinned in a corner, or given an opportunity, and we have this file of, oh, I've been here before, this is what I did last time, the instinct is to do it again. And as long as it keeps getting you the response that you want, which might not be your best response, or your highest response, or your most authentic response, you are going to keep doing it because this is what we do. We're human, right? Until it doesn't anymore. Until we wake up one day and realize, this is not who I am anymore. This doesn't feel good anymore. Or this didn't get me the response that I was looking to get anymore. That's when free will comes up and says, hey, wait a second, I don't like this. I'm going to do something about it. That's when you have the opportunity to change how you respond in a way that becomes more authentic, upholds more of your love and integrity. And that is you rewriting your karma. The thing with karma, though, is as much as it's just action, which means that it's this fluid thing. It's not carved in stone, and it's 100% yours to change, not mine to change for you. However, sometimes there are blocks that really reinforce the negative karma and make it hard to break through. So, for example, when we make a vow to someone, or when we make a contract with someone or a pact with someone, when we have a very strong, energetic agreement with another individual, giving them power over us or taking power from them or anything else like that, it can really just reinforce the karma, the choices, the actions that you make. So this brings me to the karmic reading. In the karmic reading, I do not clear your karma because, again, like I said, that's not my ability. That's a choice that you make within the moment to move that very fluid karma of yours. However, we do uncover and go through the blocks that are present and why they are affecting and kind of creating and sculpting the karma that you have. Are you able to change your karma without this reading? Of course you are. I am not better than you. But sometimes this reading makes it incredibly more possible, I should say, for you to release that karma, because you're kind of chipping away some of the structures that are creating the karma, giving you more space to make those choices on your own. We're also getting in touch again with your soul profile, which is always this wonderful boost of, wait a second, this is not who I am, which helps you to move that karma along as well. So in your karmic reading, we go through whatever blocks are presenting for you right now. So it might be that 10 lifetimes ago, because remember, we're talking about the soul. So that's the other big thing about this reading, is that sometimes we feel so stuck and we don't understand why. And part of it's because it's such a deeply rooted problem that goes back lifetimes. So again, maybe 8 lifetimes ago, you were in a situation with a parent where they really made you feel like you couldn't leave home because they really needed you to be there. And they made you feel like if you left them, then everyone was going to suffer. And now, in this lifetime, you're having a really hard time doing something that's in your best interest that requires you to maybe go out on an adventure or leave town or just get a little bit more space. And you want to do it so bad, but you feel like you just can't. And it's likely because there's this very deep-rooted contract or agreement or pact or promise within you that said, I won't do that. So there's this deeper calling within you that's saying, no, don't. Even though you at your highest self is like, no, yes, we do need to do this. So in your karmic reading, we go through all of these things that are affecting you right now. We can do this as a general overview of what's going on right now. Where are you? What karma is coming up? What blocks are coming up? You can also do this more specifically if you were to call me and say, hey, I am in this situation with work. Nothing seems to be going well. And also at home, a couple things aren't going well. And we could go through and specifically figure out where those blocks are coming from and why. And then on top of that, we go through and clear them. We break up and release those blocks and those limitations to your free will, so that you can move forward with your free will as strong as it can possibly be, making you that much clearer on how you can get there and what you need to do, but also just this little boost of, and yes, I can do that. And I'll give you some specific support based on, again, your soul profile. Some questions to kind of consider, because the cool thing is, now that you know your soul profile, it's also going to be pretty clear to you what type of karma you usually create. So with Assyrian, it might be that you are doing everything for everyone else and kind of overextend yourself. And that's why you're having a hard time focusing on what you need to do right now. If you're a Polarian, it might be that you allowed too many people to make the decisions for you, and now you're lacking clarity or gumption to do things right now. So we get a little bit clearer also on the type of karma that you tend to fall into, negative karma that you tend to fall into. So I give you some things to kind of think about moving forward and journal and work with moving forward to help you kind of be more aware and stay more on track of your easy pitfalls that we all have. And you also get your prayer that you will do for yourself for 21 days to help yourself release this karma. And finally, a little guided practice for you specifically to help you kind of ground and settle into who you are right now, where you are right now, and how to kind of connect these dots of what you're releasing and what you're working towards.